It was new moon. That is 1 Samuel 18. It was new moon, and there is always a banquet after the new moon sacrifice. When they finish the new moon offering, the king will usually set a banquet. So, because David was their warrior, David was their champion, and David was also the in-law to the king, he had a fixed position where he will always sit. The king had planned that if David comes for that new moon, they must kill him, because he has been acting as somebody that has disappearing charm. They say, if you this one, this time, we are going to hold you and do you anything provided you don't escape. They now sent emissary to David and told him that we have prepared a seat for you. Don't allow the seat to be empty. Don't miss new moon. David said, I will come. Jonathan now told David, if you are coming for the new moon, stay in the field. When I go into my father, I will raise your talk. Anything my father says, I will not come to you, but I will send a signal. You must learn signals. He says, if I shoot one arrow and only that one comes, wait a while. If you don't see another arrow, just come. It means the atmosphere is clear. But if I shoot one arrow and shoot another one and shoot another one and shoot another one, my dear, do what? Run for your life and don't stop running. There are many of you that have gotten several signals, but today you are trapped in that same thing you saw ahead because you were not spiritually minded. So David stayed in the bush, and the next thing he saw was an arrow. Piam! And after a few seconds, the second, the third, the fourth, what does that mean? It was from that place David ran. Now listen. The man who was running already had, I want us to zero that part. Already had what? The oil on his head was not oil that he went to drag. He did not pray for the oil. He did not fast for the oil. He did not request for the oil. Destiny sent that oil. I believe you're following me. I want to digress a bit. Should I? When a man runs from the palace, where is he supposed to run to? Eh? Or back to the village? Yes. Mommy, you are very correct. Manonya came to the village. Can you hear me? David, as at that time, no longer has village. You may not understand that part. Should I talk on that part? You know, the moment the oil came upon him, he became hated by his brothers. As he was anointed, the oil came with so much what? Hatred and envy. And that is why when I see people saying, I've got oil on my head, oil on my head. The more oil, the more envy. The more oil, the more hatred. Don't rejoice when you have oil. Pray for grace. Every time the devil fights you, he fights you because of the oil. Every time the devil is against you, he's not against you because of your personality. He's against you because of the what? The oil. So David's primary battle started from his house. And that was why the moment the battle started in the palace, he could not go home. Who can tell me where he went to? Eh? The cave of Adullam was not the first place he went to. He went into the garrison of the Philistines. That is, he ran from his own people and ran into the midst of his enemies. Who are the Philistines? They are products of Goliath that he killed. Somebody who killed Goliath, is he not a celebrity? I'm not sure you heard me well. Somebody who killed Goliath, is he not a celebrity? So how can he, as a celebrity, go to the camp of his enemies seeking refuge. The Bible said he disguised himself. He kept his beards and continued to live like a total stranger there. And later on, they now discovered that this guy that have been around us looks like the person who killed our champion Goliath. And the rumor continued to spread. The rumor continued to spread until somebody, you know one thing about gossip, it must leak. Somebody came to David and said, somebody said that another person heard that you look like somebody that they said wanted to, they said, you know, gossip must said, they said, and you look like somebody they said that killed Goliath. When they mentioned that Goliath, he noticed he has been discovered. And the truth is, he was in the hearts of the Philistines. The only thing he needed now was to do what? How will he run? The Bible said he now took saliva and applied saliva on his beards and tore some of his clothes and started behaving like an imbecile. And even when they looked at him, they said, this person looks like that David that killed Goliath, but not this imbecile. So he continued to act like the imbecile until he escaped from that place. Number one, he can't go to his father's house. Number two, he can't go to the palace where his wife is. Number three, he has escaped his enemies. Where else will he run to? The cave of refuge. That is what led him into the cave of what? Of Adullam. The reason why God took him to the cave of Adullam was to humble him. God took him there to bring him down. God took him there to reduce him so that he will understand that, you see, your parents, your in-laws, your friends, those chanting your praise, none of them is worthy to be trusted. None of them should be depended upon. God reduced him just to show him that the true refuge is me. I am your true refuge. I am your true cave. That's the first thing. It now takes me to another angle. You will see I'm narrating a lot of stories. If you want us to read Bible, we'll read. But because of time, now hear me well. There are certain things many of us have been praying to God for. I want to correct you this today. You can never be great without you going through tribulations. You can never be great without you going through what? Tribulations. If life has been smooth for you, if life has been all rosy for you, check that your life where you may not last. Most times that God is taking you through a funny route. He's taking you through that route to prepare you. At 17, David was anointed. If David was to ascend the throne at 17, he was inexperienced. He knows nothing. At 17, his heart was filled with bitterness. He was angry at Saul. He was angry at his brothers. He was angry at everybody. And with that level of bitterness, God cannot give him a kingdom. There are a lot of you listening to me praying to God for blessings. Blessings cannot come into your life where there is bitterness. Until you let go of bitterness, you cannot be blessed. God will continue to delay you, taking you from one valley to another until you empty yourself of that bitterness. That was the same process God took David through that route. In the portion we read, David came to the cave of Adullam. Am I correct? When you read verse 1 and 2, the Bible said when he came there, the news of his arrival spread around. And he now had his first citizens. Who were his first citizens? Those in debt. Am I correct? And those in distress. I think somebody is reading this portion. Those in debt. Is that not number one?
Yes, sir.
That's his first citizen. Second.
Those in distress.
Those
discontented.
Those who are discontented. Now let me ask, why did God, having anointed David as a king, brought those class of people first? God brought people who are stressed, those who are going through distress, those who are in debt, raw materials to him, so that if he can manage those people, he can manage anything. There are a lot of you that keeps asking God questions. Why are you giving me this half-baked husband? You know people they call half-baked husband? Do you know people they call half-baked husband? A husband that maybe his pocket is not heavy. Or a husband maybe does not know his left from his right. Or why did God give me this kind of wife? Or why did God give me this kind of job? Or why did God give me this kind of business? Listen, if God has promised you greatness, he wants you to start from the scratch. Every time God has promised you greatness, he wants you to start where?
From the scratch. Starting
from the scratch is not wickedness. Starting from the scratch is he wants you to gain experience. If you do not gain experience, gaining heights this way, if you are brought and kept here, you will crash and start afresh. I am here to encourage you. The cave of Adullam is a process every human must go through. You cannot live your life on earth without going through trials and what? There is a pastor I know. He's based in the East. Should I tell you? He has a very rare gift. If you are waiting for the Lord to give you the fruit of the womb, go to that pastor. 3 months in his church, you will conceive. No matter what the doctors have said, God gave him that thing as a what? As a grace. But him and his wife stayed 12 years. I'm not sure you heard me well. That is his own Adullam. That is his own cave. The reason why God allowed him go 12 years is so that when people come to him looking for the fruits of the womb, he will counsel them based on what he has gone through. I am one of the few that believes that the Reverend Father cannot do marriage counseling. It's my personal belief. Eh? Okay, Father can't give marriage counseling. Come, let me give you marriage counseling. Meet chairman. If you have lived with a woman back to back 10 years, just wave your hands here. Let me see your hands. 10 years back to back. Oh, the Lord bless you. Lord bless you. You see, we have witnesses in the house. There is a time you will stay with a woman, you feel like throwing her back to where she came from. That is, am I correct? You just wish you can return her back to her owner and tell them to give you that your change. But the truth is this. All those phases, I call them phases, it is no wickedness. It is not fault. But it is gathering of what? Experience. So that is why when I stay now and I see some of the young boys talking about marriage and they want to jump into marriage, I encourage them. And I tell them what they will not tell them in marriage classes. You know, there are a lot of you young ladies that when you come to me for marriage counseling, I will tell you things that will discourage you. Because your parents will tell you marriage is full of honey, shawarma. What again is in marriage? Pizza. But it's not true. The message on the cave of Adullam that came today is God encouraging the church that no matter what you do in life, you must go through phases. The fact you are making so much money today does not mean you have crossed and jumped challenges. The fact you are broke today does not mean that is the only challenge you will experience. I have seen people with money, they don't see pikin. And I have seen the one that does not have shishi. If he touch his wife just once, twins. A man gave birth to twins 4 times. Or a total of what? 8. And yet, no source of income. Can I ask the church this question? Is the man blessed or not? Is he fruitful? Look, abundant. He's fruitful in that direction. I have a Levite in the church. Most times when we finish sacrifice prayers, we see him pray, oh God, give me one baby girl. How many boys does he have? 4. His prayer point is what? But you see somebody else that have baby girls praying to God, give me one boy. All these are caves. The word caves, they are challenges. You will surely do what? You will go through. The type of cave meant for me is not the kind of cave meant for you. But the truth is this: the earlier we brace up and get ourselves ready, knowing fully well that life is not balanced without those challenges, the better for us. You will never get to the next level without an exam. Even down to Yeshua. They were already addressing him as the Son of God. He failed to understand there is what we call the Gethsemane experience. Have you heard about the Gethsemane experience? He was at Gethsemane, he saw the cup that he should drink from. And he began to pray and say, Father, let this cup do what? You cannot sit upon the throne of glory if you are not crucified. And when the angel explained all those things to him, he said, not my will, but thine, let your will be done. He prayed for grace and strength, and he was strengthened. And they led him in public and beat him and tore his clothes and spat on him and crucified him half naked under the sun, and he died. So if you read about glorification, glorification came after crucifixion. He was first crucified before he was what? Glorified. It is so unfortunate we live in a generation where nobody wants to go through trials. After now, I'm going to pray for you. And while I pray for you, there are lots of blessings God will release, and there are some he will keep. Any of the blessing God decides to release, rejoice. Any of the blessing God decides to keep, don't be too angry. The fact he's keeping it now does not mean he will not release it. He will surely release it when the time does what? I didn't hear you. He will release it when the time does what? Tell the person next to you, don't be in a hurry. It's so unfortunate we live in an era where everybody wants it now. No. And there is a phase I touched on briefly. I will touch on that part and I'll round up. It's the part where he said, the brothers, the father, am I correct? His family members, they came in search of him. You didn't read that? They came in search of him. What did they see in David while he was in the cave that they did not see in David when he was at home? You've not thought about it. What was that thing they saw in David while he was in the cave that was not discovered while he was at home? Why did they not send for him to come home? Why did they trace him to the cave? Should I tell you? While he was at home, he was still a raw young boy. He was unrefined. But having gone through the garrison of the Philistines and stayed at Gaza and ended up in the cave of Adullam, they noticed that there are changes in this guy. They noticed maturity. They noticed that this guy has been prepared for the task ahead. Listen, people will only flock around you when they notice positive changes and value. Until they see the value, they won't come. Until they see the value, they will not come. So, at that time they threw him out of the house. And at that time when they wanted to kill him in the palace, did he have oil? He had oil, but he was inexperienced. He had oil, but he was not prepared. He had oil, but he was not refined. Oil is not enough to keep your lamp burning. You didn't hear me. The oil is not enough for you to be advertised. The oil is not enough for you to be recognized. The oil is not enough for you to be valued. What are the inner qualities you have? What volume of experience have you gathered? Just talking about marriage. It is one thing to gather enough money and go to your in-laws' place and give them 10 million and tell them you want to marry their daughter. You know, in some families today, with that 10 million, they will still not give you their daughter. They will give you one goat. Or one, what else do they give? One pig to go and train for 6 months. You have the money, but no sensible father is ready to release the money. To release their daughter to you because of money. And that is why most times when I go to my village and they are trying to do all these marital things, I sit close to the elders, especially my uncle, the Igwe. There are key questions they ask the man. No matter how handsome you are, the first thing every parent wants for their daughter is financial security. What do you do? I grew up at a time when you want to marry a girl and your financial status is not stable. The parents of the girl won't give you their daughter. You can have 100 billion. They are not asking you what is your account balance. They are asking you what is your source of what? How steady. You will see a father will take his daughter and hand over to an Okada rider or a Keke rider who brings in steady income. Steady. Now, aside the money, your ability to manage a woman is number 2. I was saying something, I asked about who have stayed with a woman 10 years. Listen, if you have not gone through that tribulation, you can't stay with them. You learn it. It's an experience. You can live in Lagos and your wife live in Ogun State. That is not it. You bring it together in the same house. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 12 months of the year, and you keep counting. Let me see. Experience. Have you noticed those men that serve their bosses? Igbo boy. Have you read about them? You see where the shop is at Oba. And the man who owns the shop will tell his boys to trek to shop. And they trek back. You think that act of trekking is punishment? Why is he telling them to trek? He's training and forging them. And that is why you will end up seeing somebody who has gone through that process 7 years. He will end up buying a Jeep. Then from Monday to Friday, he will still use keke and go to shop. It's only on Sunday he will drive that car. And that car is to Catholic morning mass. Once they close service or making it, or park, that man will have 100 senators. But he will wear jeans and polo 6 days of the week. That seventh day, he will not wear the native throughout. He wears it to Sunday mass. When he comes back, he will throw that one away. What will he wear? Nika. The reason is because while he was under his boss for 7 years, he has been forged. He has been prepared for the tax ahead. Have you noticed that most house help make better wife than most daughters? I'm not sure you heard me well. Have you noticed that a woman who grew serving somebody, when she marries, her husband will never leave her? The reason is because while she was being used, let me use that word, while she was being trained, while they felt they were maltreating her, they were forging her to become what a woman should be. God did not just bring breath and breathe into Adam. He molded Adam first. So, most times God is putting us through a phase. He is molding you. He is preparing you for a task that lies ahead. Now, I will take you to the final part. Most times, because we cannot see what lies ahead, we are in a hurry. You come and you see Elijah, Okereke, short and ugly me. I don't have money. I will come and I tell you I want to marry you. Then you now see Elder Felix, handsome, tall, dark-skinned, chocolate elder, into cars and automobile. When Elder Felix comes and says, I want to marry you, you see all the ladies will do what? Will rush there. We judge based on what our eyes can see. We must learn to be careful. A lady came here and God told me, she gave me 2 names. I said, God said, this is the one you will marry. He said, but this one that cannot even feed himself. I said, yes. God wants you to grow with the one that cannot feed himself, so that when the money comes, you will have a say. Now hear me. There is this mentality many of us have, ladies in particular, that when you build with a man, over time, he will drop you and pick somebody else. It's a mentality. It's not true. It's just a mentality. Can I correct that impression? The first thing I want you to know today, take it or leave it. One of the things men have is memory. A man does not forget things, be it good or bad, but you will not know. Number 2, even if the woman has done certain wrong things, in his heart of hearts, he still knows I am indebted to this person. Whether they end up together or not. That's the truth. Then talking about you building with your man. Building with your man. I want to talk about that briefly and I'll come back to my message. The first reading, Psalms 27, am I correct? When you read the last verse, it says, wait upon the Lord. Wait on the Lord. Is it there? Be of good courage. When you read that portion, wait. There are acts of waiting. There are things that surround waiting. You can be with a man who does not have, and you are patiently by his side while he does not have. What were you doing while you were by his side? While he is waiting for better days, what is your approach? I don't know if you understand me. You can be with a man, and in between, you continue to throw some odd words. He reserves them. You can be with a man, in between, help us. Help us, and you come back to him. He will not throw you away. But is he aware of that your act? Men, am I communicating? Is he aware of that your act? Will he react that time? No. That's another thing many ladies fail to understand. Waiting. Okay, I'll give 2 illustrations. One, I might be in my office. I have a CCTV camera there, and I'm watching the countenance of people outside. I may have told Vera, after the service, I'll see you immediately. And when I go in there, the people at the protocol tell Vera, you must wait. We have 5 newcomers that must see Oga before you. Am I making any sense? Now, if Vera is waiting, there is also a Chisom I told, I will see you immediately after the service. Then Chisom comes too, and the protocol says, no, you can't see Daddy now. You must wait. There are 5 newcomers we will attend to before you see Daddy. Are they waiting or not? Now hear me. Chisom may just sit down, pick her phone, and be pressing the phone, and is waiting. Vera may be moving up and down. Call the chairman, call Apostle Owutu, call Apostle Oyoko, call everybody, report Ifunanya to them. If Ifunanya doesn't want me to go and see Daddy that says I must. While she's going up and down, is she waiting? She is waiting. Hear me well. She is waiting. But there is a difference. One is waiting patiently. Another one is waiting problematically. But are they waiting? Okay, complainingly. They are waiting. But you will not know that while I'm in the office, I am taking notes. I'm taking notes. The same way God is taking notes. The same way that your husband is taking notes. I was telling something to one of the deacons this morning. On this waiting, I told him, if you're waiting, learn to wait with sense. As you are waiting patiently, learn to do what? Wisdom is needed while you wait. If you know the Lagos axis very well, there is a place we call Beggar. Do you know Beggar? When you get to the Beggar bus stop, there's an Echo Bank by the side. Is that place Beggar or not? If you're going to Magodo, Isheri, there is a bridge you go. Before the bridge, is that place Beggar or not? Eh? When you're going to the island, when you climb up and you join the vehicle going to the island, BRT loads there too. Is it Beggar? When you are on the pedestrian bridge, is it Beggar or not? When you cross the pedestrian bridge, is it Beggar or not? So when I tell you meet me at Beggar, you still need sense to ask which side. Okay, they are all Beggar. I can be going to grammar school and I tell you meet me at Beggar and you are on the other side going to Magodo. Okay, but you get wisdom is needed. Why I digress is when it comes to the man and the woman. While you are praying to God for a husband, pray to God to give you the one that you will grow with. Pray to God to give you the one that evil people will not locate. Because most times you spend time building a relationship. There are certain people that do not like to build. They like to roof and packing. You've not noticed that one? There are some ladies out there, they don't have strength to do what? To build relationship. They are just by the side. They will watch you buy the land. They will watch you dig. They will watch you cast. They will watch you do lintel. They will wait. Then, do you know, I don't know how ladies know when money is about to come. 2 months till the money come, they cause problem. Zinc. 2 days later, they do what? They pack in. And you will now say, look at that ungrateful boy, is a lie. So, I'm going to round off my talk on Adulam. it is a phase. It is a phase of life which we all must go through one way. Anytime Adulam confronts you, don't be discouraged. It is only trials that brings the glory in you. I am one person, when I'm going through trials, when I'm going through temptation, when I'm going through certain things, I see it as I want to produce something new. I see trials like labor. The moment a woman goes into labor, another part of her is coming out. Am I communicating? So see it. Each time you're going through some issues in your office, each time you see you're going through some issues with sales, each time it looks as if business is somehow, each time it looks as if a family is going somehow, it's trials. Don't give up. You are just going through that cave. You will not live in the cave. Nobody lives in the cave. Nobody spends eternity in the cave. The cave is just a phase. Am I communicating? Is it childlessness? Is it lack of cash? Is it delay? It is a phase. And just like every other phases, they will come and go. In conclusion on that part, can I talk to you? See every phase as a challenge that lifts you so you can grab experience. You will not know the nature of your friends until you go through Adulam. All those following you up and down as friends, you can't know their true nature until you go through what? It is Adulam that shows you who loves you. It is Adulam that shows you who is your true staff. It is not when job is coming and you are dashing them money. You don't have a staff then. The only time you know you have a staff is when trials come and the person sticks like roots and turns to Naomi, where you die, I die. That is when you know you have staff. That is when you know you have a relationship. All these fair weather people, my dear, be careful. Be very careful. There are many of you listening to me that God has refused to bless because there are some people he must throw away from your side before the blessing comes, else they will kill you. So he decides to retain you in Adulam until he throws them away because they are unfriendly people. If you understand me, just wave your hands and say amen. Amen. Now, I'm still on the first reading. I want to touch the end part of that reading. Are we there? I want to touch the end part of the reading, then I'll round up. The Adulam talk has taken most of the time. I want us to read that first Samuel 22. Am I there? Read 21, 22, 23, and we'll pray. Please, if you did not listen to the first message, I want you to listen to this second one. This second one is very, very important. Even though it's going to be very brief, but it's very important. This second one, very important. Are we there?
Yes, sir.
So the reader will read 1 Samuel 21 from 20. The 20 is not the story. I will tell the story and I will hit it there. Continue.
Verse 20 says,
yes.
And one of the sons of Ahimelech,
okay,
the son of Ahitub,
okay,
named Abiathar,
yes,
escaped and flee after David.
Okay.
Verse 21. And Abiathar shewed David that Saul had slain the Lord's priests.
Okay.
Verse 22.
Now, before you read 22, I want everybody's attention, please. Hear this message. It's very important for you. If you check today, I'm not preaching on any particular topic. I'm explaining the Torah. At the time when David got to Adulam, hear the story, he needed to hear from God. So he went to Ahimelech, the priest, and told Ahimelech what he is going through and the plans he had. Are we together? And he told Ahimelech, consult God. After he spoke with Ahimelech, he came out. He now turned and noticed a particular guy. The guy's name was mentioned as Doeg, the Edomite.
Yes. Was there.
I can walk into your office, take note, and you have a lot of people. But for me to spot one person, there is something familiar about that one. David left. While he was leaving, the priest called him and gave him the sword of Goliath and said, go. If you read that portion from the account of the Chronicles, it was this same priest that David met and was hungry. And the priest gave David the shewbread for him and his men, and they ate, and David left. So the king, Saul, heard that David came around, but he doesn't know where he went to. Saul now asked all his soldiers and servants, what did David promise you people? What has David given to you people that made you have information that will help me kill David? And yet you are doing what? You are hiding it from me. Every other person kept their mouth except this dog, the Edomite. And he said, I saw David. I saw him at the high tab. I saw him at North, the city of the priest. I saw where he ate bread. I saw where they gave him the sword. I saw where he talked to the priest. And the king says, go and call those priests for me. They called the priest. And the priest, long live the king. He said, why did David come and you give him attention? He said, David is a son. He came around, he needs spiritual guidance. And we rendered help to him. He said, okay. Saul now turned to his servants and told them, kill all these priests. They look at the king and they prostrated. Long live the king. But you see this priest, I will not do what? I will not kill. That same dog took his sword and did what? How many? 85. The number was mentioned there. How many? 85. You killed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 until 85. Now, verse 22 is where I want to explain, and I'll drop the mic in words. Read 22.
22 says, and David said unto Abiathar,
yes,
I knew it that day.
Now this is it. David told the one that escaped, I knew that day.
When Doeg the Edomite was dead.
When I saw this Doeg the Edomite,
that he would surely tell Saul.
I knew this man will surely do what?
Tell Saul.
The question is this: when you knew, what did you do? You didn't hear me well. David knew that this man, because he has seen me, he will tell Saul. David knew who Saul was, his father-in-law, that collected his wife and planned to kill his own son-in-law. He knew how rugged and wicked Saul was. On knowing all these things, what did you do? There are lots of you listening to me. Most of the things you are going through today are things you saw the signs, but you were so callous. It does not matter. 85 people died. It does not matter. Your business will gradually do what? Go down. It does not matter. Listen, wake up and know that everything matters. Stop treating things with kids' what? Gloves. Start packing the water away from the canoe while it is still at your ankle point. Don't wait until it gets to your knee because you will drown. Am I talking to anybody?
Yes, sir.
There are lots of you that procrastination has reduced. If there is any tribe I love so much, I love the Yorubas when it comes to spirituality. I have a lot of them I work for. I have a lot of them as members. Listen. A typical Igbo man goes to his shop on Monday. Massive sales. Tuesday, no sale. Wednesday, no sale. Thursday, no sale. That Thursday, he will just buy 1 crate of beer and use it to console. He will tell you, no enjoy here. Or he will tell you it is because it's been raining. Or he will tell you because of dollar. Or maybe fuel scarcity. Then Friday, if he sells, he relaxes. But a Yoruba man. Monday, if he sells, Tuesday does not sell. Wednesday morning, he has called me. Sharon, sir. Sharon, sir. They do Sharon. Sharon, I say Sharon. He said, Daddy, my papa. I'll say, how are you? He said, I'm not fine. You will not believe all through Tuesday, I was in my shop and not sell anything. I will say, really? He said, yes. He said, please help me check. That's help me check. I can pray and discover it is natural. I'll tell you, relax. He said, okay, sir, Papa, thank you, sir. That I have checked. You don't know, say there's no wahala. But if I check that Tuesday and discover that certain things is being arranged or certain demonic things have started, by Wednesday, they don't come midweek service. So, as you know, sell one day. Oh my. The Yorubas do not treat such things with kids' glove. Especially if the person is now a Muslim. Oh, my father, my father. Am I communicating? They have a way of following spiritual things, bumper to offender. But you will wait. You notice your child has started misbehaving, you will wait. You start smoking cigar, you will wait. He will start smoking Igbo, you will wait. Until he enter Kolos, you now bring him to me. As what? Since you have been coming to this compound, have you seen anybody on chain here? Anybody? The time the person is still, the case is still redeemable. You will not come until Obanye Kolos. Learn it. Don't treat things with kids' glove. There are people that come here for prayers, and when I close my eyes, I will see a shop with thick cobwebs, some shops with blankets, some shop with spiritual tarpaulin, and I ask, where were you? Where were you? They covered it to this extent. It does not matter. Hear me well. Should I tell you? I am a Shabbat keeper. I believe in the Bible. And I believe in all Romo. Hear me well. Anything we do in the name of God, provided our enemies will not laugh at us, do it. There are some of you, you call yourself Shabbat keepers. I feel so terrible when I see a Sabbath church 3, 4, 5 deaths in 1 month. 20 deaths in 1 month. Deaths. It is now we are trying to establish death policy in the church. Am I correct? In the church, we are trying to establish what? Because we don't know what death is like. In this church, we don't know what it is like. Anybody that dies, it's maybe God says, foul, bird flu. Learn to put your 2 feet on the floor early. I will deal with you. Listen, no statement is empty. Every statement said in anger is what has been harbored. Anger only amplifies it. You see, anger, happiness, drunkenness allows people to tell you what they have harbored. So you can't come today and tell me he said it in anger or he said it drunk. That drunkenness made you say what you would have not said in your real state. Stop taking things for granted. Am I communicating at all? In the book of 1 Samuel chapter 15, God told Samuel, tell Saul, go to Amalek, kill all the Amalekites, kill Agag, don't spare anybody. They went there, killed the few they could kill, rescued the ones they could rescue, packed all the big animals, and they went to the palace. Saul came and said, is this what the Lord has sent you? Where is Agag? They brought out Agag. Now, if you read that portion very well, can I hear you? Can you hear me there? Yes. Hear me well. In that portion, they brought out Agag. But you know, if you read all through that chapter, there is no story of the killing of any of his child. Samuel, out of anger, butchered Agag. Go read it. He said he cut him into pieces. It was only Agag he cut into pieces. What about his what? When you now go to Esther chapter 3, from verses 1, it now tells you the story of Haman, the what? The Agagites. When Haman rose against Israel, he did not just rise against Mordecai. He did not just rise against Esther. He rose against the what? The Jews. I want you to do me a favor. Look at somebody, tell the person, do not spare your enemy. I'm not sure you're with me here. I want you to look at somebody and say, do not spare your enemy. Your enemy may chase you, listen, and chase you and chase you. The day you will sin against God, or the day you go and commit fornication, or the day you will be angry, and that attack will hit you and you die. Where will the person go to? Eh? Somebody who dies in the act of fornication, where is he going to? The truth is, I cannot tell for sure. But what the Bible told us is hellfire. That person that pursued Elijah until he killed Elijah, if the person hear word of God in 2 years and repents, where will the person go to? Now, who lose? Learn to be prompt with spiritual things. Learn to be prompt with spiritual things. Shalom, sir. How are you doing? Please, sir, by Monday, I want to send you money. Don't go and thank God. Enter prayers. In the days of Daniel, that was how the angel was sent. And the demons of Medes and Persia, we stood. Begin to kabash. Continue to kabash, that money enter your hand. Many of you will not kabash. Begin to put it in your status. Newest, freshest babe loading. Cutest guy loading. Newest phone loading. 90% of people watching your status, they are observers of time. 90% of people watching your status, they don't watch it because they want to rejoice with you. They are watching to know the one they will stop and hinder. In order make a mugu. Spiritual mugu. Wake up! Hide your plans. Hide what the promises are. Every promise you hear, every arrangement, take it to the altar of prayers. Don't fold your hands. You wake up today and say, I want to walk away from this relationship. My husband is not treating me well. You want to walk out from a relationship and walk into another relationship the person walked out from. Am I communicating? Yes, now. If the man is misbehaving, you are not going anywhere. You will tell him we die here. Go into prayers and ask what changed. Something changed. He was the one that saw you at the beginning and said we die together. I do. In sickness and in health, in sorrow and in joy, till death. And all of a sudden, he said, no, they do again. Something happened. That man that was pampering you, gradually pampering you like egg, now start breaking you like egg to fry. Something happened. Yes, now. The man that will take you to shawarma, before he put both on pack, he will open the door, run and go and open the door for you to come out. When you lie down to sleep, he will not sleep. He will use blankets to cover you and continue to fan you. If never take light, he's angry. And all of a sudden, you tell him you want to come, he tells you he's busy. Something is responsible. You must learn how to monitor times and seasons. You have customers, you have clients, they talk to you and all of a sudden, he begins to act funny. Don't wait till he acts funny. Start your prayer before he starts acting funny. Many of you believe in this mentality. Soldier go, what will remain? Now you, they waste your time as the barrack. You are the barrack. Go to every barrack. The building is depolated. Barracks building. Old buildings. Barrack. Go and check all the barrack. Paints have washed. But soldier is doing what? Coming and going. I want you to say, I refuse to be the barrack. You can't be the barrack. So I'm saying this. Wake up. There are lots of opportunities in front of you in the remaining days of this year. Sit tight on the altar of prayers. Every stingy man has somebody he's giving to. That man that is telling you, I want to go to bed, I'm tired. He wants to talk to somebody else till morning. That's the truth. I can't give you this job, your quotation is high. There's somebody else that has used something to convince him. Charms don't work, prayer does. So learn how to take the bull by the horn while it is still day. The reason why many of you pray longer is because you start looking for your black goat by 10 p.m. And that's why you look for it till morning. No. You go to your prophet. You don't need to wait in church until there is vision. You didn't hear me. I have a few members that do it. Many of you don't know that one. On a Sunday or Monday, you drive your car and come to church. And you sit down. You count your consultation fee. And you drop to prof. And you sit down like a what? Like a newcomer. Isaaka. And tell him to do what? Check me. From the beginning, as a new. By the time you do back-to-back check-ins, see, the stone where they road they come, you know, if you blind your eye. So I'll round up my word here on this. Learn to identify trouble. And when you identify the trouble, tackle it. Tackle it immediately. Don't delay, and you will live longer. Don't delay, and you shall be preserved. On this note, I rest my case. May the Lord bless you in the name of the Most High God. When I come into your presence, I'm so happy.
Hallelujah.
When I come into your presence, I'm so glad. In your presence, there is anointing, and your spirit moves around me. In your presence.